I heard them in the kitchen. Again. Honestly, Richard, I don't understand why you stay with her. My mother-in-law, Patricia said. Her voice carried through our house. The modern colonial I designed and paid for. A man of your position deserves better. Tell me about it, mother. Richard's voice was thick with contempt. No man would want such a fat wife. I'm embarrassed to bring her to client dinners. I stood in the hallway, laptop in hand, listening to the same conversation I heard variations of for the past 3 years. Every Sunday, Patricia came for brunch. Every Sunday, they discussed my weight like I was a disappointing stock portfolio instead of a human being. You should have married Jessica Thornton, Patricia continued. Beautiful girl. Thin. From a good family. Jessica didn't have Sarah's money, though. That's the trade-off. Still, dear, there must be a limit to what you'll tolerate for money. There is, and I'm reaching it. I walked into the kitchen, my size 16 body moving confidently despite their words. Morning, Patricia. Richard. Coffee's ready. They barely glanced at me. Patricia wrinkled her nose slightly, her usual greeting. Sarah, darling, Richard said with false sweetness. Mother and I were just discussing the charity gala next month. I think it might be better if you sit this one out. You know how those events can be uncomfortable for you. Translation. I don't want to be seen with you. Of course, I said, pouring coffee. Whatever you think is best. Good girl. He patted my hand like I was a dog. Why don't you work on that new project you mentioned? The tech integration thing? Keep yourself busy. Actually, I finished that yesterday. The buyer signed the final contracts. Richard looked up, mildly interested. Buyer? What buyer? For the company, Novus Industries. I sold it. He laughed. Sarah, stop playing. Novus isn't for sale. It was. As of 9 a.m. yesterday, the sale is complete. $12 million. Final payment clears tomorrow. The laughter died. What are you talking about? We can't sell Novus without board approval. The board approved it, unanimously. I called a special meeting last week while you were in Miami with Jessica Thornton. Richard's face went white. Patricia's coffee cup paused halfway to her lips. You were in Miami with Jessica, Patricia asked her son. That's not important right now, Richard snapped. He turned to me, his expression shifting from shock to anger. Sarah, you can't sell our company without my consent. Our company? I said calmly. Let me clarify something. Novus Industries was founded 8 years ago by me, using $200,000 of my inheritance from my grandmother. I built it from nothing while working 80-hour weeks. You came along 3 years ago with your MBA and your connections and convinced me we should get married and that you'd help run the company. I made that company what it is. You showed up to board meetings and took clients to golf. I wrote the code. I secured the patents. I negotiated the contracts. I built the technology that made Novus worth $12 million. I sipped my coffee. And 2 years ago, when we got married, you insisted we keep finances separate. Remember? You said you were old-fashioned and wanted to maintain your independence. Sarah, what are you? That prenup you made me sign, the one your lawyer drew up, stated very clearly that all premarital assets remain separate property. Novus was my premarital asset. You have no legal claim to it. Richard stood up so fast his chair fell backward. You can't do this. I'll sue. I'll take you for everything. With what money, Richard? You stopped working when we got married. You've been living off my income for 3 years. Your bank account has $4,300 in it. I checked. Patricia finally found her voice. Richard, is this true? You have no money? Mother, stay out of this. Your father left you $2 million. Where is it? Richard's silence was answer enough. You spent it. Patricia's voice rose. $2 million in 3 years? I had expenses, a lifestyle to maintain. I'm a businessman. I needed to look successful. You needed to look successful while mocking your wife for her weight? I asked quietly. While calling her fat every Sunday? While cheating on her with Jessica Thornton in Miami? How did you? Your credit card statements, Richard. The ones that come to my email because I'm the primary account holder since you couldn't get approved on your own. Hotel rooms, dinners, jewelry, which I never received, so I assume went to Jessica. Patricia looked like she might faint. Richard Andrew Morrison, you did not. It's not what you think. It's exactly what you think, I said. He's been having an affair for 8 months, with the thin, beautiful Jessica Thornton from the good family, the one you wished he married. I pulled out my phone and opened a folder. I have photographs, hotel security footage, credit card receipts. A very interesting video from his Miami trip that I'm sure you both prefer I not describe. You've been spying on me? Richard's face was purple now. I've been documenting evidence for divorce proceedings. There's a difference. I finished my coffee and set the cup in the sink. The sale of Novus closes tomorrow. $12 million will be transferred to my private account, the one you don't have access to. I've already moved my assets out of our joint accounts. You'll find about $3,200 in there, your contribution from the last 3 years, minus the $80,000 you spent on Jessica. Sarah, you can't. This is theft. It's asset recovery. My assets. My company. My money. I picked up my laptop. The divorce papers are on your desk in the study. I'm filing for dissolution based on adultery. Pretty straightforward. Where do you think you're going? Richard blocked my path to the door. Somewhere you'll never find me. Don't worry, I've left you the house, which I'm sure you'll realize you can't afford within about 3 months when the mortgage is due. Property taxes are due next month too. That's $18,000. Good luck. The house is in both our names. Actually, it's not. Check the deed. I bought this house before we married. You convinced me to let you live here, but I never added your name to the title. My lawyer made sure of that. Patricia stood up, wobbling slightly. Sarah, dear, let's not be hasty. Richard made mistakes, but surely we can work this out. Mrs. Morrison, you spent 3 years telling your son he deserves better than me. You've made comments about my weight, my clothes, my cooking, my career. You've made it crystal clear I'm not good enough for your precious son. I smiled. Congratulations, he's all yours now. I hope you two are very happy together. Sarah, please. Richard's voice changed, becoming pleading. I love you. The things I said, I was just venting. I didn't mean them. You meant every word, and you know what? You did me a favor. How? You taught me exactly what I'm worth, and it's a hell of a lot more than being married to a man who mocks my weight while spending my money on his mistress. I walked past him to the front door. Where are you going? Richard's voice cracked. I told you. Somewhere you'll never find me. I've already closed the sale on Novus. I've already moved my money. I've already hired the best divorce attorney in New York. By tomorrow morning, you'll have nothing except this house you can't afford and a mother who taught you that a woman's value is measured by her dress size. You can't do this to me. I can, and I did. Enjoy your Sunday brunch, Richard. You and Patricia can discuss what a disappointment I was. I opened the door. Oh, and Richard? Jessica called me yesterday. She wanted to know if the rumors about Novus selling were true. When I told her yes, she asked if you'd be getting half the money. I told her the truth, that you'd be getting nothing. She hung up. I don't think she'll be returning your calls. His face confirmed what I already knew. He'd been planning a future with Jessica, funded by my company sale. You vindictive bitch. No, Richard. I'm a businesswoman who finally woke up and realized she was being used. There's a difference. I walked out of my house, seemed to be Richard's problem, and got into my car. Not the modest sedan I usually drove, but the Mercedes I kept in storage because Richard said it was too flashy and made him look like he wasn't the breadwinner. As I drove away, I looked in the rearview mirror and saw Richard standing in the driveway, his mother beside him, both of them looking lost. I didn't feel guilty. I felt free. 6 months later, I sat in a cafe in Barcelona, laptop open, working on my new venture. I'd taken the $12 million from the Novus sale and invested $5 million in a new startup, artificial intelligence for healthcare. I was the sole owner, sole founder, and I'd hired a team of brilliant engineers who cared about innovation, not my dress size. My phone buzzed, an email from my divorce attorney, Janet Morrison. No relation to Richard, thankfully. Sarah, great news. Divorce finalized. He tried to fight for the house, but the prenup and deed were airtight. He's been ordered to vacate by the end of the month. He's also on the hook for his own legal fees, $75,000, which he can't pay. His lawyer has filed a lien against any future assets. Thought you'd enjoy knowing that. Also, Jessica Thornton is now dating the hedge fund manager. She and Richard are no longer in contact. Enjoy Barcelona. Janet. I smiled and closed the email. A man at the next table caught my eye. Pardon, but I couldn't help noticing your code. Are you a software engineer? I am. CEO of a new AI healthcare company, actually. Impressive. He extended his hand. I'm Dr. Carlos Mendoza. I work at hospital clinic. We're actually looking for AI solutions for patient data management. We talked for 2 hours about technology, about healthcare, about innovation. He never mentioned my weight, never looked at me like I was something less than. He just talked to me like I was interesting, intelligent, valuable. When we parted ways, he asked if I'd like to have dinner sometime, to discuss a potential business partnership, he said, then smiled. And because I'd enjoy getting to know you better. I'd like that, I said. That night, back in my Barcelona apartment, the beautiful place overlooking the Mediterranean that I'd rented for 6 months, I thought about Richard. About the years of comments about my weight, about feeling grateful that he'd chosen me despite my body, about working 80-hour weeks to build a company while he played golf and called me fat behind my back. And I thought about the $12 million sitting in my account, about the new company I was building, about the freedom of not having to listen to Patricia's criticism or Richard's contempt, about Carlos, who looked at me like I was exactly enough just as I was. I pulled out my phone and opened Instagram. Richard's profile was still public. His latest post was a selfie with the caption, "New beginnings. Difficult times make stronger men. Blessed entrepreneur comeback." I laughed out loud. He was rebranding his divorce and financial ruin as a personal growth journey. The comments were brutal. Didn't you lose everything in a divorce? Isn't this the guy whose wife left him broke? Heard your company got sold and you got nothing. That true? I didn't comment, didn't like or share, just closed the app. Richard's opinion of me, of my weight, my worth, my value, didn't matter anymore. I'd spent 3 years being told I should be grateful someone wanted me, that my body was shameful, that I was lucky to have a husband despite my size. And now I knew the truth. Richard was lucky to have had me. He just hadn't been smart enough to realize it. The man who'd called me fat was now living in his mother's basement, working at a car dealership, trying to pay off legal fees. The woman he called fat was drinking wine overlooking the Mediterranean, running a multi-million-dollar company and planning dinner with a handsome doctor who looked at her like she was exactly perfect. Funny how things work out. A year later, I received a message from Richard on LinkedIn. He'd been blocked everywhere else. "Sarah, I know I have no right to reach out, but I wanted you to know I'm in therapy, working through my issues, understanding how badly I treated you. I'm truly sorry. I was wrong about everything. You deserve so much better. I hope you're happy. Richard." I read it twice, then closed it without responding, not because I was angry, but because I simply didn't care. Richard and his opinions had become irrelevant to my life, footnotes in a story that was now about so much more than him. My company had just secured $20 million in series of funding. Carlos and I had been dating for 6 months, slowly, carefully, building something real. I'd lost some weight, but I'd also gained muscle, confidence, and the bone-deep knowledge that my body was the least interesting thing about me. I was brilliant. I was successful. I was kind. I was strong. And I was exactly enough, exactly as I was. The girl who'd once listened to "no man would want such a fat wife" was gone. In her place was a woman who knew her worth couldn't be measured by dress size or scale numbers. A woman who'd taken $12 million and her dignity and walked away from a man who confused her bank account with her value. A woman who learned that the best revenge isn't destruction. It's building a life so full, rich, and joyful that the person who hurt you becomes irrelevant. Richard thought he was marrying my money. He never understood he was marrying my genius. And when he lost me, he lost everything that actually mattered. I hope he figured that out eventually. But honestly, I was too busy living my best life to care.